Hello, so here we are for week 2 of the IL-2 Sturmovik Battle of Stalingrad early access phase. So some of you, or most of you, might be wondering what exactly is the difference to last week's version. Well, the difference is right in front of you. For the week 2 we now have a second flyable aircraft, which is the Messerschmitt Bf109F-4, which is one of the two Luftwaffe fighters which will be available at the launch of the sim. So first of all, I'm going to show you something I've missed in the last video, which is the loadout section for the LaGG-3, which shows what exactly is available for that aircraft. So this is the loadout section, and here we have a couple of unlocks which are available for the aircraft and which can be chosen. For example, you can swap the stock 20mm for a 23mm or 37mm cannon, and you can take bombs of 50kg or 100kg weight, or 3 pairs of rockets. But I guess everybody is eager to see the 109 in action, so I'm going to start the free practice mission. So, what does the 109 offer? So you've got an optional 15mm pair of underwing gondolas. You can take 4 50kg bombs, a single 250kg bomb. You can take a pair of 20mm gondolas, and there's 2 sort of field modifications similar to what is already in Rise of Flight. Namely, you can add an armored windscreen, which I think in the old IL-2 was stock. You could not remove it, and you can remove the armored headrest to get a better view behind you. You can select the fuel loadout here, but you cannot do anything with the other stuff. You can't select the bomb timer, rocket range, gun convergence, because all of that, all the weapons are non-functional at this point. So I'm going to stay at 50%, and we also have a few skins to choose from. This is the default paint scheme, which is kind of a summer skin, I think. We have a stock standard winter skin. We have a grey camo scheme, which I like very much myself, which is, I think, a JG52, Jagdgeschwader 52 skin. We have a JG54 Green Hearts winter skin, and we have what I think is most probably some kind of fictional winter skin. The premium founder skin is not in at this point. So, being a former JG52 guy, I'm going to choose this skin. And let's jump into the cockpit. So, here we are. Okay, so that was the ground control talking to us, or most probably to an AI. We start out here in this tent. Canopy is open, as you can see. We can lean out all the way. Get a good look at the engine and the supercharger intake. On the side we have the exhaust pipes. And we can look behind us, not on that side but on this one, because the other is blocked by the headrest and canopy. We have here cockpit, we have throttle lever, the flaps. The wheel to our left here is the flaps control. We should have a water cooler control, at least it does say on the virtual gauges on the lower left that this is actually working, but I've read that it is actually not working. It just shows you what the water radiator should be at, but it is at the moment automatically governed, just like the oil radiator. Also the prop pitch is fully automatic and the mixture, so other than the throttle you cannot manipulate anything about the engine at this point. So all you have to do okay, so that was just the AI running its mouth, and so all you have to do to start the engine is pretty much just press E. That does the trick. What you can also do in the 109, which is quite handy for takeoffs, is you can lock the tail wheel. This is the unlocked position, this is locked. So the tail is not going to yaw to the left or right if it's locked. This is actually a nice feature, and the LaGG-3 does not feature such a system. So I'm just going to roll to the runway, similarly to what I did in the last video in the LaGG-3. And as you can see, the airfield has been converted to Luftwaffe setup. So we have a 109 here, cowling opened for maintenance. We have a Wehrmacht truck, and I guess we have some more aircraft here as well. Yeah, another 109. As you can see, the ammo counter is already showing something, but I think it is not the right amount. The upper limit is 1000, I think. Oh, yeah, left and right show 500 as upper limit. Should be full actually. The middle one has upper limit of 100, which is also too low. Should be 500 rounds per machine gun and 240 motor cannon. By the way, as you can see here, looking out from the leaned out position into the cockpit, all the instruments are actually 3D. So what is this? Oh, that's a Stuka. Oh, you can see here, this is also new. This now in this version we have actually AI planes flying with us. And they have their navigation lights on, as it looks. Which doesn't make much sense during daytime. But anyways. Okay, for better ground steering, I've unlocked the tail wheel now. And I'm rolling to runway. I'm going a little bit fast here, so I'm braking. Oh, here we have a Heinkel 111, then the Bf109s just flying in the far distance. And there's another Stuka, or maybe the same, I don't know. Oh, 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 oh. Well, that's what you get if you're too forceful on the throttle. Good thing we have a wheel brake here. Looks like the AO is coming into land. Yeah, that's one of them coming in. Whoa, that was actually very close. Okay, so I'm going to roll on to the runway, but on the far left side, so I don't collide with the landing 109. Okay, so I'm going to stop it here. So, as you can see, our view to the back is quite good at this point. This is going to change when I close the canopy. So now, this is actually quite limited, much more than in the LaGG-3. Which is probably the point in removing the backrest to get a better view to your 6. So, how does one take off in this thing? So the first thing to do is obviously to lock the tail wheel. And what is also recommended is to actually lower the flaps a bit. On the left side, you actually have markings on the flaps. You see those black stripes here. It's actually moving with the flaps. So 4 full turns of the flap wheel are advised. So we're going to just count this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this corresponds to 2 slashes on the flaps. That's actually 4 in total. So I think we are good to go. There's nobody in the circuit at the moment. So let's take off. Yeah, it's coming in. And the aircraft took off by itself. Okay, so I'm retracting my gear and my flaps. So, where's this guy? I don't see him anywhere near. Ah, look at the engine. Perfect synchronization on those pistons and the effect. So, what I have to say, the external model is of very high quality. I'm not particularly thrilled about the cockpit. I personally think that the Cliffs of Dover cockpits are a tad higher in quality, but in terms of external models, this is obviously much better. By the way, the box between your feet, that's actually the cannon. So, I still don't know where the other guy is. Oh! Is this him? No? Oh, it says he landed. Well, let's give him a buzz. Yeah, there he is. So we have a lot of static aircraft and obviously the AI here. And I'm going to go for a landing here before the AI wants to take its turn. So, gear is coming out. Yeah, seems like he's in the circuit now. I'm going to go for a touch and go. Ah, see, I actually damaged my gear here. Doesn't want to go in. Yep. Yep. That's going to make an interesting landing. But at least you're going to see the damage model on his thing then. Also, by the way, if you try to open the canopy in flight, this is going to happen. I'm not going fast enough. Yeah, that's what happens. But at least you get a good look of the engine in flight. Okay, so flaps are down, gear is down, or what's left of it. Let's try another landing. So, this is what's going to happen if you touch the ground with the wings. So, let's try this at night. So this time we're already starting on the runway, canopy closed, engine running. So I can show you the cockpit lighting. Unfortunately there is only this, there is no instrument lighting like in the LaGG-3. I think, yeah, the tail wheel was already locked. Going to employ the flaps. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, just behind us there's at least 109, I mean, flying in the circuit. I just lost him behind one of the cockpit bars, but he was going left to right here. Either way, let's just take off. Also a nice feature is that if you take off you can see your wheels still spinning from the speed, and if you hit the wheel brakes like I am doing now, they're going to stop. So, this is basically the same night mission as for the LaGG-3. Which means you have vehicles moving around, you get the moon lighting up the scenery with reflective light. Of course, if you cannot open the canopy in the 109, you don't get a flare gun, because you can't fire it without an open window. And I have not found a way to open the side window at this point, which would be the only option to fire a flare gun. And isn't it a reflection on the 109 when the light of the moon hits it? Just lovely. And of course the exhaust pipes, those are amazing. So where did the vehicle column go? Ah, there they are. By the way, as you can see on the instrument panel, we are flying at roughly 1.42 ATA boost, 2700 RPM, which is representative of a 1942 model of the 109 F-4, and that is going to have some serious performance to it. So top speed on this thing, if the FM is modeled well, should be in the range of 650 km/h at about 6,000 to 6,200 meters. And top speed at sea level should be around roughly 530 km/h. So that is some serious performance. And while the firepower on a 109F is not particularly intimidating, especially as compared to the 190A4 that is also going to be available at launch, it does have the advantage of all guns being centrally mounted, so you're going to be hitting your target very well with all of your guns at pretty much any distance. Whereas in the 190 you're going to have to fuzz and mess around with conversions. And personally, I've always been a fan of these centrally mounted weapons on the 109 LaGG-3. By the way, the water cooler, as said, you can actually close, but in the external model there is no change. But in fact, if you close down the radiator, your engine temperature is going to rise pretty quickly, but with no detrimental effect, because overheating is not really modeled, other than an effect which I already saw on the LaGG-3. You get a white vapor trail. I've not tried it out on the 109, but I guess it's going to be similar. As said, overheating engine damage is not modeled at this point. So we've reached the waypoint. Is this the last? Yeah, so there's the airfield. Going to try to get a better landing out of this aircraft at this point. What we've seen in the last landing is that the 109 likes to bounce a lot, so you have to be very careful. So I'll have to get rid of some of the excess airspeed I still have, and I can actually drop down the gear and the flaps. So landing gear is locked, indicated by the green lights. The flaps should be all the way down now. Okay, so we're a little bit misaligned. Nothing too serious. I'm going to land on this one. Yeah, you see that? Flare just shot up. Also, what is interesting on the 109, at least now in this version, you can step on the brakes violently and it won't nose over at all. Okay, so that was a good landing. I'm going to attempt one more and then call it a night. So because of the engine torque, you actually have to use quite a bit of right rudder, because otherwise the nose will violently yaw to the left. But that is to be expected with the 109. By the way, if you're wondering why the aircraft is like dipping up, dipping down, left, right in the external view. That is because of the cinematic camera setting, which is supposed to be, well, more cinematic. Gives more atmosphere and a more vivid feel to it. If you deselect it, the camera will always be perfectly centered around the aircraft. This is also one of these settings simply taken, converted over from Rise of Flight. Okay, so you see the 109 is very quick to build up speed and altitude. We've already climbed up to some altitude and built up considerable speed, which we have to get rid of now. And I think I see a pair of aircraft just up ahead of me. You know what? Let's check them out. How many times you get to see other 109s here? So, also a difference to the LaGG-3, does not have landing lights. Does however have navigation lights. I think we are slowly catching up with them. By the way, there's also a neat level autopilot feature. You hit Shift and A and it's going to automatically level out the aircraft for you. You can disable it by either pressing Shift A again, or you just violently flick the joystick around. That will disable it as well. These guys are pretty fast. By the way, this is the prop pitch indicator, which is currently not working. They're turning right. One of them has geared us out, so I guess he's going for a landing. Yep. What's the other doing? Well, he stays up. So, let's head back to the airfield. So without the cockpit lighting, it's pretty much pitch dark in here. You get some kind of phosphorescent labeling on the instruments, which lets you read them even without cockpit lighting on. Most of these shelters seem to be empty. A few vehicles moving. Oh, that was the negative G effect, I guess. So, let's enter our final approach. Okay, good landing. So, switching the engine off. Okay, so that was a good flight. So, this was it in terms of novelty in the new version. I'm not sure what next week is going to hold for us, but I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm going to make a new one next week with the new version.